Welcome to Global Hub Updates. Please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for more updates. Breaking news. U.S. helicopter intense standoff with Chinese jets over the South China Sea. For the crew of a U.S. Navy MH-60R Seahawk, this was no headline. It was a life-or-death moment. The air vibrated with tension as Chinese J-16 fighter jets closed in, boxing in the slower Seahawk. The Seahawk, callsign Guardian 2-5, had launched from the USS Theodore Roosevelt for a routine surveillance flight. Routine in name only. The South China Sea is a global flashpoint where US and Chinese interests collide. As the Seahawk patrolled, a crackle on the radio. American aircraft, you are approaching Chinese airspace. Leave immediately. The US pilot replied calmly, "We are operating in international airspace." Silence from the Chinese side. Then two jets appeared, closing in fast. The Chinese fighters weren't there to talk. They boxed in the Seahawk. Afterburners blazing. Faces hidden behind visors. This was no standard intercept. It was a deliberate act of intimidation. The Seahawk's crew stared down the threat, knowing a single mistake could trigger a global crisis. The world watched, but for Guardian 2-5, the stakes were immediate and personal. In these skies, the margin between peace and conflict is razor thin. The South China Sea is more than a map. It's a battleground for power and principle. Every encounter here is a test of nerve, skill, and resolve. For the U.S. crew, this was a defining moment in a much larger struggle. The showdown was just beginning. To understand the tension, you have to see the map through Beijing's eyes. China claims nearly the entire South China Sea, marked by its sweeping 9-dash line. This line cuts into the exclusive economic zones of the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Brunei. In 2016, an international tribunal rejected China's claim, siding with the Philippines. China dismissed the ruling and doubled down, building artificial islands and militarizing them. These outposts now bristle with runways, radars, and missiles. Unsinkable aircraft carriers projecting Chinese power. By stationing military assets here, China can monitor and potentially control all air and sea traffic. The US and its allies see this as a direct challenge to the rules-based order. The South China Sea has become a test of whether might makes right, or if international law still holds sway. The stakes are nothing less than the future of the region. The MH-60R Seahawk is the US Navy's workhorse, hunter, scout, and guardian. On this day, Guardian 2-5 was on a freedom of navigation operation, or FONOP. These missions challenge excessive maritime claims, asserting that these waters are open to all under international law. The Seahawk's crew is highly trained, ready for anything from rescue to combat. Their mission: fly a set route, observe, and report, showing the US won't be deterred from operating where law allows. The presence of the Seahawk is itself a message. The US stands by its allies and the principle of a free and open Indo-Pacific. But as the Chinese jets closed in, routine gave way to crisis. The crew's skill and composure would be put to the ultimate test. In the South China Sea, every flight is a statement, and sometimes a standoff. The world was watching. The J-16s closed in, one jet slicing less than 100 feet in front of the Seahawk. Jet wash rocked the helicopter, alarms blared, the American pilot fought to maintain control. This was intimidation at its most dangerous. Trapped, the Seahawk had only one escape, a hard left turn, away from its course and toward open sea. The Chinese pilots wanted to force the Americans out, to claim the skies by aggression, but Guardian 2-5's crew stayed calm. The pilot dropped altitude suddenly, then banked hard left, using the Seahawk's agility to break the trap. The flanking Chinese jet overshot. The window opened. The Seahawk dove to just 50 feet above the waves, hugging the ocean to evade pursuit. The Chinese jets circled above, frustrated by the escape. After a few tense minutes, they broke off. Guardian 2-5 had outflown and outlasted the threat. The crew's training and nerve had averted disaster. In the South China Sea, skill can mean survival. The crisis was over, for now. The J-16 incident is just one example of China's gray zone tactics, aggressive moves that stop short of open war. China uses its Coast Guard and maritime militia to harass rivals, block supply boats, and enforce its claims. These aren't ordinary fishermen, they're state-backed, equipped, and coordinated. The goal: wear down opponents, create facts on the water, and avoid direct military confrontation. For smaller nations, every encounter is a dilemma: respond and risk escalation, or yield ground. China denies responsibility, calling these civilian actions, but the scale and coordination are unmistakable. The U.S. and its allies face constant pressure, every patrol a potential flashpoint. The gray zone is a space of calculated risk, and China is always testing the limits. The struggle is relentless, ambiguous, and dangerous. In the South China Sea, the line between peace and conflict is deliberately blurred. China's aggression has backfired, forging stronger unity among the U.S. and its allies. The Pentagon now publicizes unsafe Chinese actions, exposing them to the world. U.S. carrier strike groups, joined by allied warships, regularly patrol the region. Joint exercises with Australia, Japan, the U.K., France, and Canada send a clear message. Freedom of navigation is non-negotiable. Diplomatically, alliances are deepening. The Quad, US, Japan, Australia, India, focuses on a free Indo-Pacific. AUKUS brings advanced submarine tech to Australia. The US has reaffirmed its defense commitment to the Philippines. China's actions have pushed neighbors closer to Washington. The West's greatest strength is its network of allies. The response to gray zone tactics is not ambiguity, but unity and transparency. Together, these nations uphold the rules-based order. The coalition is stronger than any one nation's coercion. The South China Sea is a vital artery. 1/3 of global maritime trade flows through these waters. Disruption here would cripple economies from Japan to Europe. For bordering nations, the sea is a source of food, jobs, and untapped energy. China's 9-dash line claims nearly all these resources, clashing with its neighbors' rights. The U.S. has a core interest in keeping these lanes open and upholding international law. If one nation can rewrite the rules here, the global order is at risk. The struggle isn't about containing China's growth, it's about ensuring fair access and lawful conduct. The South China Sea is a test of whether law or force will shape the future. For millions, the outcome is personal. Food, energy, and security are on the line. The world's prosperity depends on peace in these waters. The contest here is for the soul of the global system. The Seahawk encounter is just one move in a high-stakes game across the South China Sea. Incidents are growing more frequent and aggressive. Lasers, water cannons, and close calls at sea. Beneath the waves, U.S. and Chinese submarines shadow each other, the risk of collision ever present. Both sides are deploying unmanned drones, adding new layers of complexity and danger. Each encounter is a test of nerve. A single mistake could spark a wider conflict. The greatest danger isn't a planned war, but a miscalculation, a hot-headed pilot, a technical glitch, a moment of confusion. The margin for error shrinks with every incident. In these crowded waters, the risk of escalation is constant. The South China Sea is a powder keg, and the fuse is short. Every day, the world holds its breath. The lesson from Guardian 2.5 is clear: skill, unity, and transparency are the best defense against reckless escalation. The U.S. and its allies are setting new standards: professionalism, adherence to law, and collective action. China's approach is different: aggressive posturing and dominance. This clash of philosophies is the heart of the tension. The U.S. is adapting, deploying mobile marine units, using unmanned systems, and sharing intelligence with allies. The goal: deter aggression without provoking war, and build a resilient distributed defense. The standoff is a test of endurance and resolve. Guardian 2.5 showed that cool heads and superior skill can prevent disaster. The U.S. responds not with aggression but with professionalism and unity. By operating where law allows, standing with allies, and exposing reckless behavior, the U.S. and its partners keep the South China Sea open. The rule of law, not the rule of force, must prevail. The world is watching, and the stakes could not be higher. The future of the global order is being written in these contested waters.